We're back, and the event we've all been waiting for is here. Mario Bautista versus Vinicius Oliveira, and wow, is this a great card. Honestly, though, if I'm being honest, these prelims are 10 times better than UFC 325. But we are going to start off with the early prelim opener, Claudia Segula versus Priscilla Cachoeira. Now, when it comes to lower skill WMMA, there's one factor that I believe really plays a part, and it's masculinity. So I'm going with Priscilla Cachoeira by decision. Next up on the card, Muin Gafarov versus Jakub Wiklax. Now, we just saw Jakub Wiklax upset Patchy Mix in a very close decision, and it's kind of hard to tell how good Patchy Mix actually is because he's looked so bad recently. But he lost to Mario Bautista, who I believe is actually very good, who also just had a pretty good performance against Umar. So that leads me to believe that Jakub Wiklax is actually decent at fighting. So I'm going to go with Jakub Wiklax to outpace, outvolume Muin Gafarov, and I think he'll be able to defend the takedowns, and I think he'll use his range on the feet. So Jakub Wiklax by decision is my official pick. Up next, Wayne Kong versus Eduarda Moura. I am a huge fan of Wayne Kong. Genuinely huge fan of Wayne Kong. I've watched her kickboxing fight against Valentina Shevchenko, and I know that doesn't play much into MMA, especially because she got dropped and subbed a few fights ago. But I still believe her striking is above most of these girls, and I think she'll be able to get the decision win. She might drop Eduardo Moura. I don't think she'll get the finish, just because I don't think she has that. Even now, she did have a one-punch knockout in her debut, but I don't think that's going to happen again. We might see a TKO late round 2, early round 3, but I'm going to go with Wayne Kong by decision. We're running through these picks pretty quickly. Saeed Nurmagomedov versus Javid Basharat. Saeed Nurmagomedov, I believe, just lost to Bryce Mitchell in a close decision. And Javid Basharat just got absolutely demolished by Ricky Simone. I don't know if his chin's going to be the same. That was a brutal knockout. And I honestly thought Saeed could have won that fight against Bryce Mitchell. Landing a crazy good knee, dropping Bryce in that fight. And I think he'll be able to do something similar to Javid Basharat. I think he'll use his striking to his advantage. I think he'll use his quick submission ability to kind of deter takedowns from Javid. So I think I'm going to go with Saeed Nurmagomedov via ninja choke in the second round. We've seen him do it before, and I think he'll hurt Javid Basharat on the feet. And then as Javid comes into clinch or shoots a takedown, I think Saeed's going to lock up a submission. So second round submission, early round 2 by Saeed Nurmagomedov, and I think he's going to get this one done. I think it's going to be a very impressive performance. I think after this, he should get a larger jump up the rankings. Next, Bruna Brazil versus Caitlin Souza. I'm going to go with Bruna Brazil by decision. Bruna Brazil by decision. Nikolai Veretennikov versus Nico Price. Nikolai Veretennikov by TKO. I don't think he's that good. I just think Nico Price is so washed. I forgot he was in the UFC. This guy got knocked out by a 50-year-old Robbie Lawler. I just don't think Nico Price is UFC caliber anymore. He had some fun scraps earlier in his career, but man, it's time. It's time to wrap it up. I think this should be his retirement as well. Nikolai, I think early round one, kind of the first flurry he lands is gonna TKO Nico Price. Nico Price's chin is gone. There's just nothing else to say there. Nico Price's time is done, man. It's sad, I'm still a fan of Nico Price. He's had some fun scraps, but man, at a certain point, you gotta hang it up. Moving up to the prelim headliner, Alex Morono versus Daniil Donchenko. Man, Daniil Donchenko, Ultimate Fighter winner, had a crazy fight. Crazy fight in the finale. And Alex Morono, he's getting older. I don't think his heart is fully in the game, but we've seen him have some decent performances against that 10 to 15 range. But man, Daniil Donchenko, this guy's a marauder. This guy's a marauder, man. But genuinely, he is a marauder. He will walk you down and beat you the hell up. And I think he's gonna do exactly that to Alex Morono. I think either second round or third round TKO. I think Donchenko is gonna walk him down, pin him up against the fence, land a combination, and end up dropping Alex Morono and finishing the fight. I think we're going to see a performance bonus from Daniil Donchenko, and I think we can expect big things from him in the future. Moving up into the main card, we're speeding through this. We're speeding through this card. You know, it's a Thursday. We gotta hurry up. Dustin Jacoby versus Julius Walker. Now, Julius Walker, I don't believe is that good. I think he's slow on the feet. I don't know, man. I don't think his ground game is that good. To the point where he can out-grapple Dustin Jacoby. I don't think he'll get him to the ground. I think Dustin Jacoby's striking is very good, very underrated. I think he could have won that fight against Khalil Rountree back in the day. And he had a great performance against Vitor Petrino pretty recently. So I think Dustin Jacoby is going to get the first round TKO. Okay. On to the fights I'm excited for. Jean Matsumoto versus the other Basharat bro, Farid Basharat. Jean Matsumoto is going to get it done. I do believe Farid's pretty good. I do. But I think the level of competition he's been facing has just been underwhelming compared to Jean Matsumoto. We saw Jean Matsumoto fight Rob Font in a close fight that he lost. But Rob Font's good, man. Like, people underrate Rob Font a lot just because we see him lose to these top guys. But that's a tough fight, especially your first jump in the ranking to be Rob Font. I'm going to take Jean Matsumoto by decision. I think Jean Matsumoto is going to land the better shots on the feet, which I believe this fight is mostly going to take place on. And I think he'll have the bigger moments, land the bigger shots. I don't think Farid Bashar really has much power at all. So I think the bigger moments are going to come from Jean Matsumoto. And I think that's what the judges are going to see. And I'm going to take Jean Matsumoto by decision over Farid Basharat. Moving up on the card. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk versus Marc-Andre Barriault. I think this is the coming out party for Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. He's training with the Fighting Nerds now. Marc-Andre Barriault is kind of chinny. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk isn't known for his power, but we've seen him drop granite chins like Kevin Holland. And we've seen Marc-Andre Barriault take brutal losses. So I'm going to go with Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Marc-Andre Barriault, cool brawler. I just think Mikhail Oleksiejczuk at this point in his career, he has a little bit of momentum. Marc-Andre Barriault just lost, and we've seen him get brutally finished by Joe Pyfer. Brutally. That's a career-changing loss. Definitely a career-changing loss. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, I think he's eventually going to catch him. I'll say second round. I think he's going to end up catching Marc-Andre Barriault and getting the TKO win. I mean, I really would like to see Mikhail Oleksiejczuk get a step up in competition compared to his last fight. But, I'm not mad at this. This will be a fun scrap. On to the Oh, shit. Up next, Jailton Almeida versus Rizvan Kuniev. Now, here we go. Here are the nice fights. I say nice fights, and it's two heavyweights that have had boring decisions in their past fights. Jailton Almeida just lost to Alexander Volkov in a disturbing fight. If you go back to my video on heavyweights, you'll understand why I do not like Jailton Almeida. Now, I think he's a great grappler. I'm not gonna say great. I'm not going to say great after that last performance, but I think he's a good grappler, good top control, okay submission ability against these lower level guys. And Rizvan Kuniev, decent striking. Honestly, could have won that fight against Curtis Blades, I'll be honest. But I think Gelton Almeida is going to be able to take him down and hold him down, and this might be another blob fest. He might just hug him for the entire fight. Now, Rizvan Kuniev could catch him. I think Rizvan Kuniev's striking is pretty good, especially his boxing in particular. Decent power as well. But man, I just don't think he's at that top level where I believe Gelton Almeida could be if he really emphasizes jiu-jitsu. So I'm going to take Gelton Almeida by boring, lackluster decision. And moving on to the co-main event, Amir Albazi versus my GOAT, Kyoji Horiguchi. Kyoji Horiguchi's putting belt to ass. Belt to ass. Get Amir Albazi out of the rankings. He doesn't deserve to be at the ranking that he's at. He robbed Kai Kara France in an obvious decision that should have gone to Kai, which is what jumped him in the rankings. He got dominated by Brandon Moreno. And Kyoji Horiguchi just had a crazy performance against Tagir Ulanbekov. So I'm going to go with So I'm going with Kyoji Horiguchi by third round submission. I think he's going to hurt him on the feet and end up getting the sub. Similar to what he did to Tagir. But man, I just think Amir Albazi's head movement is lackluster. Lackluster is honestly generous. Null, to be honest. Kyoji Horiguchi, I believe, is in that top echelon of fighters who could be challenging for a title. And honestly, if he has a crazy performance here, he could jump guys like Tatsuro Taira and Manel Kape. Just saying. Or at the very least, get a title eliminator, and whichever one of those guys don't get a title shot. Kyoji Horiguchi, belt to ass, star making performance. This guy's already a star, man. He's a star in Japan. He came over here, put belt to ass. He's gonna be a star here. Kyoji Horiguchi's the man, and this is really why I'm gonna watch this fight card. Cause I'll be honest, like, I mean, like, whatever. On to the main event: Mario Bautista versus Vinicius Oliveira. I want to pick Vinicius Oliveira so bad, man. I love his style. I love the way he strikes. I do. Big fan. I was on a boat watching this guy fight. But I think Mario Batista is really good. His style might not be the most pleasant to watch, but he is really good. He had a very competitive fight against Umar. And man, it really impressed me. Fun fight too. You know, after the Jose Aldo performance, everyone hated him. But I'm not gonna lie, I became a little bit of a fan after that fight against Umar Nurmagomedov. And I think he's gonna end up wearing on Vinicius Oliveira. Come the end of the third, fourth, fifth rounds. Now listen, Vinicius will have his moments. He will land big shots. But I believe Mario Bautista has a very good ability to recover off of getting hurt. And I think later in the fight, Mario Bautista, fourth, fifth rounds, really going to take over. Really going to land volume. I think his cardio is excellent. I think Vinicius Oliveira has very explosive movements, which will cause him to tire. So I'm going to take Mario Bautista by decision. And yeah, man, I think it's going to be a pretty impressive performance. But those are my picks for UFC Fight Night, Bautista versus Oliveira. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.